Look, let's be honest for a second. It's a random Tuesday night, you're sitting on your couch, and you just opened your banking app. You see that balance, and a physical knot ties itself in your stomach. You're working hard. You're putting in the 40 hours, maybe more. You're making $50,000 a year, which sounded like a lot of money when you were 20. But now? Now it feels like you're trying to fill a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom. You pay the rent, you buy the groceries, you put gas in the car, and by the time the dust settles, there is nothing left. You feel like you're running on a treadmill that's moving just a little bit faster than you can keep up with. It's exhausting. And the worst part is the creeping suspicion that you're going to be stuck in this exact same spot 10 years from now. But here is the reality that no one wants to tell you because it's not flashy and it doesn't sell get-rich-quick courses. You are being lied to by the very people who claim to be helping you. Most of the financial advice you see online is total garbage. You've heard the Latte Factor, right? Some guy in a suit tells you that if you just stop buying a $4 coffee, you'll magically become a millionaire. That is an absolute insult to your intelligence. Skipping a coffee isn't going to save you $10,000. In fact, focusing on the tiny, microscopic expenses is exactly why you're still broke. It's a distraction. While you're stressing over a $4 coffee, you're bleeding thousands of dollars in silent taxes that the average American doesn't even realize they're paying. Today, we are going to stop playing small. I'm going to show you exactly how to carve $10,000 out of a $50,000 salary without living like a hermit or eating ramen noodles for 300 days straight. There is a specific mathematical framework for this, and it involves a concept I call the inverse wealth gap. Most people won't tell you about this because it involves actually looking at your life with a level of radical honesty that most people simply can't handle. But if you stick with me until the end of this, you're going to have a blueprint that actually works in the real world, not just in some textbook. Listen, the average person making 50 grand is actually only taking home about 40,000 after the IRS takes their cut. Then you factor in the American dream tax. We've been conditioned to believe that we need a certain car, a certain apartment, and a certain lifestyle to prove we've made it. But here's a shocking statistic for you. Over 60% of people making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Read that again. It's not an income problem, it's a structural problem. If you don't fix the structure at $50,000, you'll be just as broke at $150,000, just with a nicer car in the driveway that you can't actually afford. The first thing we have to do is kill the big three. These are the giants that are eating your $10,000 before you even get a chance to see it. It's housing, transportation, and food. Most people try to save money by budgeting their fun. They cut out the movies, they cut out the drinks with friends, they make their life miserable. That is a recipe for failure. You have a finite amount of willpower. If you use all that willpower to avoid buying a new shirt, you're going to crash and burn by month 3. Instead, we need to make one-time decisions. Think of your finances like a plumbing system. Most people are trying to catch drips from a dozen different faucets. I want you to just weld the main leak shut. If you can move to an apartment that is $300 cheaper a month or get a roommate for a year, that's $3,600 saved with zero daily effort. If you trade in that financed SUV with the $600 monthly payment and the sky-high insurance for a reliable used sedan, you just found another $5,000 a year. Suddenly, we're already at $8,600 saved, and you haven't even changed what you eat for lunch yet. That is the power of the inverse wealth gap. You focus on the massive structural costs so you can actually enjoy the small things in life. Now here is where it gets interesting, and this is the secret that most experts won't tell you because it sounds boring. It's the automation trap. We think we're in control of our spending, but we're not. We are creatures of habit. If the money is in your checking account, you will spend it. It's a psychological law called Parkinson's law. Requirements expand to meet the resources available. To save $10,000, you have to make that money invisible. You need to go to your HR department tomorrow and split your direct deposit. Have $400 every paycheck go into a high-yield savings account at a completely different bank. A bank you don't have an app for on your phone. A bank that takes 3 days to transfer money out of. If you don't see it, you won't miss it. You will naturally subconsciously adjust your lifestyle to live on what's left. It sounds too simple to work, but it is the single most effective wealth-building tool in existence. But we have to talk about the credit score illusion for a second. We've been told our whole lives that a high credit score is the key to financial freedom. Look, a credit score is just a "I love debt" score. It tells banks how good you are at paying them interest. If you're carrying a balance on a credit card at 24% interest while trying to save $10,000, you're trying to swim upstream with a backpack full of rocks. You aren't saving, you're just treading water. We need to flip the script. You need to use the American dream logic against the system. Use those tax-advantaged accounts. If your employer offers a 401k match, that is literally free money. It's a 100% return on your investment instantly. If you aren't taking that, you're essentially giving yourself a pay cut every single month. Here's the thing that's going to hurt a little bit. To save $10,000 on a $50,000 salary, you have to be okay with looking unsuccessful for a little while. You have to be the person with the older phone. You have to be the person who brings their lunch to the office when everyone else is ordering $20 salads on DoorDash. We live in a culture that is obsessed with the appearance of wealth, but the people who are actually wealthy are often the ones you'd never suspect. The millionaire next door isn't a myth, it's a strategy. Imagine it's 1 year from today. You've followed the blueprint. You've automated your savings, you've downsized the big three, and you've stopped caring about the social pressure to spend. You open that banking app again, but this time, the knot in your stomach is gone. You see 5 figures staring back at you. That $10,000 isn't just a number, it's freedom. It's the ability to say no to a toxic boss. It's the ability to handle a medical emergency without a panic attack. It's the foundation of every dream you've ever had. The difference between the person who stays stuck and the person who breaks free isn't luck. It isn't a small loan of $1 million. It's the willingness to take a hard look at the math and make the tough calls today so that your future self can live a life that most people only dream about. You have the tools. You have the income. Now, you just need the discipline to stop being a passenger in your own life. Stop letting your money happen to you and start telling it where to go. Go log into your bank account right now. Look at those big 3 expenses and ask yourself what you're willing to trade for your freedom.